Hi, I just wanted to let you know an update on how I'm feeling as far as my ileostomy and my surgery and everything. Um, I've been struggling a lot. I've been struggling with dehydration and losing more weight and medications that were pushing fluids and nutrients through way too fast. So I was losing a lot of weight, but the gastroenterologist finally helped me with some medication that slowed that down so that the nutrients could actually stay in my system long enough for me to be able to absorb some of them. So I've gained just a tiny bit back, not very much. But I'm really struggling because I had pain really badly around my ileostomy, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I went to change my bag and found out there was a lot of bleeding and there was a split in my skin on the side of my ileostomy. So I bandaged it up with some protective barrier sheets from Coloplast and put on another bag, and that helped the pain. But then I had to check it again, and next thing I knew, there was a big hole in my skin, like a literal empty big hole in the place of that little skin split. So I let my ostomy nurse know what was going on, and she said it looks like I've developed an ulcer. And she told me if it didn't get better within a couple of days, then I needed to come in and have a wound dressing done on it. Well, my home health nurse was here a couple days ago, and I specifically had her check it because she's with the same system as my doctor's office. And I did a bag change with her there. And the hole that I had is now like 3 times as big as it was. And so I had to make an appointment with my ostomy nurse. But the problem is, in this area, there are only a few ostomy nurses that are available in the healthcare system that I go to. So being able to get in for an emergency or for urgent needs is an absolute zero possibility. And they've even told me that. And in the whole Kansas City area for the St. Luke's system, which is what my ileostomy is through, is St. Luke's health system, there's only 2.5 ostomy nurses, meaning one works just Monday and Tuesday, so she's only there partial days. So I'm left with having to drive a whole lot farther to get to the ostomy nurse that is full-time. And that means I have to wait a week. So what they've told me I needed to do is to use a Hollister barrier ring, a piece of one, which has ceramide in it that wicks up moisture, it absorbs fluids. I had to put a piece of that over it, and then I put a piece of the Coloplast protective barrier sheet on top of it, and then did my bag change. So I'm not sure where this is going, but it is very painful. And if any of my fellow ostomates have had a problem with a hole in their skin, I would welcome your advice and your experiences to be able to deal with this. I'm having a lot of problems with dehydration, and the doctor ordered IV fluids, and the orders for that got sent to the wrong place, and I still haven't gotten IV fluids, and this is nearly a week later. So I called them today to try to get them to send it to the right place, to the right fax number to get the orders through. So I imagine tomorrow they'll be able to get me in. But the process of losing weight and having a problem with this pain issue and the medications that were causing problems and the pain that I'm experiencing, and I've got overall weakness, with a lack of fluids, dehydration issues. I was doing very badly. I literally felt like my body was dying. And I told that to my gastroenterologist, and he said, well, let's get you back to the living, which was funny, but it wasn't at the time, because just getting to the office was the most difficult part of the day, and then getting back home was the other part of the difficult day. So I've been struggling a whole lot, and I've never weighed this small amount before in my life that I can ever remember, because I never weighed myself when I was growing up, when I was a kid or a teenager, and I've never weighed this little. I've lost way over 50 pounds since December, and I was decent size then. I was a size 14, and you know, it wasn't skinny, but it wasn't thick, and it wasn't fat, and I really loved it, and I was at that weight for years. But the hiatal hernia surgery that I had, and then them taking off the diverticulum off the side of my stomach, that sent my whole body into a spin, and everything's been downhill since then. So I'm not exactly sure where things are going to be leading, but I've also discussed with my gastro that it's possible that I need my ileostomy reversed, and I need part of my colon taken out and everything hooked back up. I've done some research and some studying, and that seems to be another option for people who have dysmotility in their colon, when your colon just stops working like mine did. And my Crohn's right now is not active at all. I'm actually in remission, and they didn't see any signs of it, which is the first time that I've never had that. But I was also on Skyrizi infusions for a year, and I think that really helped a lot. But I don't need it now because there's no active inflammation going on, which is a plus. So I'm not exactly sure what the future holds for me, but I am struggling a lot, and I would appreciate your prayers, and I'll try to keep you updated as I go. Thanks a lot for listening and for caring. Bye.